A 2x2. Because
Yeah,
you
there
could
it
do
is.
that, and I could do this too.
Oh, perfect. That's even better. Wow. Or
There you
double.
go.
Yay!
Okay, and then we adjust it. I wonder how this is going to eventually just be like. I don't know. Well, I wonder how they're going to improve this. I mean, this is pretty fabulous. I don't know any other platform that actually does this, so it's just fun. But yeah, I was trying to hurry and run errands out in the winter. Quickly, I've got to go get groceries and then come
All
back
right.
so I can do a 2x2.
It's cold where you are. It's cold here.
Yeah. There's no snow. It's dry. It's those things, that cold that just goes right to your bones. We have our first person. Now, how do we do this that you can look where people are?
It
Scroll up to the
says they'll
bottom?
usually say they'll joined and they have to put a message in. It's on the bottom. It should come up over me.
Well, I
Which is
know
totally
that.
good.
Whatever. No, I just don't know. Okay. Yeah. We'll figure it out. I'll learn.
We'll give
So,
them a minute to come.
yeah. And this is all still recording, so.
It is. We're live. Be
I love
gentle
that.
with yourself.
We should have pre-questions. I have
Yeah.
two really good questions for you.
We
I
can
come
jump in.
prepared.
People
I
will
always have
watch
lists.
maybe the replay. We were saying that the replays, FYI, haven't been replaying. So Substack is going through some growing pains, maybe. I tested one. Hey, Zach, I tested one this morning and it wouldn't replay. But when you post this, if you post it also as a podcast, the audio should come up. So there'll be an audio button under the play button for the video, and then the audio plays.
Okay. Well, I'm wondering if we can start doing enough of these. I'd like to just have a section that people can listen to. Because with section, you can do your own podcast and not have it. This isn't something that I want to put in my everyday podcast. It's not in that category. So I don't know. We'll see. Something to play with.
Well, tell everybody what we're doing, because I don't know if they missed we're doing a 2x2.
Hi, Christy. I did a little video that preempt like 10 minutes ago or 6 minutes ago.
Good.
So yeah.
Well, I feel like this is probably the last one I should do for a while. I've done 3. I don't have much more I can say about myself. We want other people to do these. I want to learn about other writers, not myself.
Well, but that's the thing. I started making a list when I watched the first one with you and Coomer. I just started making a list. I wanna meet this person and this person and this person. A lot of people that I follow or that I lurk on their Substacks, and I'm like, I have questions for them. I know I literally have this list, but I'm like, no, I want to do my friends first because I want my friends to get to know you guys. So, hey, DW, you're on that list, by the way. DW.
Well, DW and Hallie were the first ones that have done it outside of you and me, and yeah.
Wait, I missed that. DW, you need to put
find it.
you need to put we need to have a way
We need to put the link to all of the ones that people are doing somewhere. Yeah, we'll work on that because these have to be viewed. That was a really good interview. So.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Good morning. I'm used to saying this Monday morning coffee. It's not Monday. It's Friday.
It feels like Monday though. Every day feels like
Mountain
Monday.
Standard Time. It is.
Yeah, I'm barely awake. Where's my coffee? I haven't even done my conversations with coffee yet. I did this.
I'm prepared. I brought coffee. And
then I
brought Coke just in case. So we'll get it working. One way or another, we'll supercharge it.
There you go.
So welcome everyone.
It's on Hallie's page. DW said we'll find it.
Okay. Good.
Find the link.
That's good. Cool. I'd like to watch that with Hallie. So. Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm here with Tell Me a Mystery, and I'm Jamie with Life of Fiction, and this is two writers with 2 questions. And this time, since I learned from Coomer, and then I watched you and Coomer, I get to go first.
You get to go first.
So here we go. Here we go. Are you ready, Anne?
I don't know. Go ahead.
What? This is more because I want to see how you think.
Oh no.
What do you foresee happening to fiction writers and the publishing landscape over the next 24 months? Things like AI, Trump, don't want to get into politics, but Trump, Substack, uh, things going. I don't know if you've kept up on like the bomb with WordPress. It seems like the landscape of publishing period is going crazy. And I'm wondering, what do you foresee happening in the next 24 months?
Hmm. Well, so last year I actually did go to New York and I went to like this writing pitching conference for books, and you got to pitch to each other your ideas and work on one story that everybody kept in giving you input. And then they brought actual agents in and you pitched to them like big people. And they would tell you if it was commercial or not. And what I got from all that is at least traditional publishing is as it was already going that way, but it's definitely going the way of you've got to have an audience. You've got to be able to bring something to the table. They like a good idea that might get you in the door, but I don't know if anyone's going to bite if unless they. I know been a few big hits recently in different genres, and I think even those had like book talk behind them. So what I'm saying is that I think it's beneficial to us to try to build that audience and say, "Hey, I've done this on Substack or wherever it is." Those sort of social media outlets do give you an in to interesting a publisher who might come find you with your success. And it also gives you a chance to take control and put it out there without them, right?
Hmm.
So there are a lot of publishers right now that what they do is they just find people that have already gone out and maybe done the Kindle of their book, and they buy the paperback. There are several publishers in the big, they're up there with the big houses that are making a lot of money doing that. So they're finding us, these indies that have gone out and built something, and they're saying, "Hey, we want to piggyback on that." So I think that'll be more and more the future, but it does mean that we have to build our audience. And that's what Substack can help us do. So that's what I see happening is more control for the little guy.
That seems kind of odd to me. I mean, I've always been independent, and I've made a living doing this. But you know, I think I can understand, a big publisher walking in and saying, "Okay, we'd like to make an offer over your paperback." But it's funny because if you have a substantial audience, especially if you're indie and you make so much more, such a larger percentage of the profit if you're independent, if you can do it, my brain says, why would I go with a big publishing house?
Well,
I
so
don't know.
I don't think paperback, I don't know about you, but the money I make on self-publishing is Kindle. Paperback is minor. Of course, you are doing more comic books that maybe that's why. But the market,
I did I
the
did once
Amazon
upon a
market is
time. I
Kindle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So the major money being made is in Kindle, and I think Audible also doing audiobooks is a way to go. I don't know. I just feel like even with AI, I think all our tools are growing to do it and be independent and make money at it. So that's where I see it going. I mean, you still have to find your audience. And so that's
Right.
still the bottom line, which actually leads me into one of my first questions for you is
Uh,
branding as a writer. So, I mean, that's like a buzzword that's been around for a very long time. But I know recently you've had some ups and downs with that, and so I thought, what did you learn by trying to brand yourself a certain way that we can learn from you?
oh gosh. No, the conflict that I've had though is my audience and the friends that I'm making on Substack and my supporters, they and I have to agree because it's why I follow other Substacks is the content, of course, but the key factor is always it's the personality. You know, I don't ever sign up to a newsletter or anything unless I love the voice and personality of the individual. So for me growing up, I didn't care about being famous and I don't want to be famous, but I've always wanted to do something famous. I wanted to have a story that was really popular, but it's like, but I want to hide behind a curtain. I want to be, Oz and just do my thing and just let me be. And it doesn't, at least for me, it doesn't work. I had to come out and start engaging. And you know me, I love people. I love relationships. I love
It's
the
natural.
potential of a soul, right? And so my main branding has always been wanted hero, because the concept when I started this when my kids were little were I wanted them to learn about heroes, about good people. When we play games in my house or role playing games, the number one rule in my house is you don't get to be a bad guy. That's not who we are. That's not what we do. So I just had a concept that I started, which was wanted hero. And I thought of a wanted poster of, you know, wanting someone that had the right characteristics that my kids could actually emulate. And so that went from comic books to novels to games to audiobooks to uh, and so I'm still trying to figure out what's possible. And you're right, the tools. I told a dear friend last night. I was telling Christy and I was telling Delena that it's neat to be in a position where you can make literally anything you want now as an independent person. If you have
Really
basic
can.
skill sets, you literally can make whatever you want. And I love that freedom. I want more stories, not less. There's not we talked about this and with Coomer. I don't believe in competition. That's not a thing. It's actually not real. It might be in your brain, it might be in your heart, you might be a selfish puke, but that's not a thing, not in reality. Because if I write a really good book, they're going to eventually get through the book and they're going to look for something else like that or maybe not like that. And so that brings more people to you. You bring more people to me. We should be banding together and doing this is why I love this 2x2 is doing this. But
Yeah.
branding has I'm going through contortions again. Like this week again. I'm trying to figure out how do I make information flow and how do I make it accessible? And I realize I don't have the eyes for that. I have turned to a group of brilliant ladies who just said, "We'll help." And so I'm trying to break
That's
everything
smart.
down and put things on bucket lists. And so I don't know that I have an answer other than take what you really want. I look at it from the standpoint, how do I want my readers to feel? How do I want them to be and think when they leave? What do I want them to take away? I want them to be happier. I want them to really be grateful and happy that they had this experience with me, whatever it is. And so I try to brand it around that. And I realized I had that domain name, Life of Fiction, for a long time, and I never used it. And I just
Huh.
thought, I have Life of Fiction and I have Life is Like Fiction, which was a podcast with my
Mhm.
son, which I hope to be able to
That
do
could be
again sometime.
anything.
That was our therapy. That's our
Oh yeah,
family
that sounds like
therapy. Yeah,
therapy.
that went crazy because it's just stories about us. But Life of Fiction, I'm like, that envelops everything that I could possibly conceive of doing. And so I realized, but where do I put it? And I literally found Substack within 72 hours of thinking about that with Life of Fiction. I was led to Substack, following a writer that I absolutely loved. And I came over here and I'm like, what the heck is this platform? And I went, oh my gosh, this is perfect. This is so perfect. How will I do it? I have no clue. Don't care. In motion. And so I've hit the 2 year mark now. And I'm like, I think I'm starting to get it. But I actually don't have an answer for you.
Well,
Sorry.
I think
That's my,
that is an answer. You are saying kinda take your time, find your way. You'll find your path. I mean,
you will.
Christy had a good point here. She was saying, "Yeah, it's great to use social media." I'm paraphrasing, but what if you're not good at social media? I mean, there's always Fiverr. You can always hire someone to help you post stuff if that's it. I think there's some great tools in Substack that do allow you to connect something to a YouTube page or Facebook. I'll post stuff here, and I used to be big time on Facebook, and then it changed, but I still have it, and I have this whole screenwriter community that I'm part of on Facebook, and every now and then, so I'll get a message, and I realize that my Substack is posting there.
Oh,
And I'm
really?
going, oh, I don't know how much I wanted that, but people are reading it. So I say, do those links. That's an easy way, right? To sort of
Yeah.
get what your message out of what you're posting, at least on Substack, and then just focus. I just focus my attention here. I'd
Yeah,
love to
me
do
too.
book talk and all that, but I'm like, yeah, there's only so much you can do. So you have to figure out how
Exactly
you're going to
right.
spend your time, right?
Yeah. I just have those accounts, the few accounts I think I've got. I got an X account, which is funny because when it was Twitter, I got banned
Oh
so
yeah.
many and you know what? I wasn't really banned. I'm one of those non-tech people. I kept locking myself out, and when I try to do the reclaim, it's like, "You've done it too many times. We've put a hold on," or whatever they do, and I was like, "That would go for years." And I'm like, "Ah, bugger." So I was like, "Whatever." And then Instagram, I don't know. That got weird and obsessive. Pinterest, I have a Pinterest, but that's not social
Yeah.
media, it's just putting things
Well,
up. And
I have
and then
them
I
all
have
too, but
yeah, well, I use it for inspiration. Then you have in your Facebook, yes, I do that, but I do for, friends and family, but I have groups. But that's where a lot of times people reach out, to find me as an artist. So I still post, but other than that, no, I spend all my time here, and World Anvil, so that's
Yeah,
that's my
that's
home
been
away
a
from home
great
too.
site. I mean, I don't know, you did a shout out for me there or something, and I noticed a bunch of people came and found me. So thank you.
Uh, World Anvil is, gosh, I joined them in 2019, and they were the best community online that I've ever met in my life.
Mm.
Now I'm not going to say that they're not, but now I smile and say Substack is so unique because the community that I love first and foremost is mine.
Right.
It's my friends that come and mix. It's you. So and then you have those rings that interconnect. So, I'm attached to Tell Me a Mystery. I'm attached to the worlds of Kumar Wolf and things like and it just grows and it's organic because we're all friends. And I
Yeah.
love this. And we're
It's
doing the
very
same
unique.
thing.
Yeah, I
It
think that's
is.
the best way to brand yourself is in an organic way. Unless, I mean, like I called my Substack "Tell Me a Mystery," so that gives you some idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't know if all my stories are that mysterious. They're not all crime fiction or anything, but I
I
got
know
some
I
fantasy in there.
well, yeah. Well, it still works though. It still works.
Like it's
So, okay.
adjacent. It's mysterious.
Okay, so I've actually been wanting to ask you this personally. So yay, now I get to do it in front of everybody and post
Oh
it.
no.
So what no, these are I don't ask embarrassing things. That would be rude. I don't
No,
believe
you
that
that's
would be
not
rude.
you. That's
So
not you. It's
so
okay.
what is something people don't know about you, Anne,
Oh
but
no.
you really wish they did?
That's a great question. What do
I've
Well, I
wanted
don't
to
think
ask
people
you this
know
for like 6
you
months.
have oh
Yeah.
gosh, what? There's so many things. Um, well, I'm an Air Force brat. I don't think people know that off the bat. So I grew up all over the world as a kid. We moved every couple years. So I think I mentioned that before. That did really fuel a lot of my storytelling. My dad, fighter pilot, so he and his buddies, they always told these tall tales about stuff that made me go, "How did I ever get born?" The stuff they did. He should have killed himself many times over by accident.
Oh,
So yeah, I don't think people know that. So I've lived all over. I lived this really great life as a kid, so that's why I'm really happy just to sit at home now. I do go out, but I like to travel. But I that was a very thrilling life. I got to see a lot of things that I don't think you could get to see, and it took a long time before I
yeah.
came back and was living in the United States. I lived in the Middle East, I lived in Europe,
Really?
and so that it
Where
was
where
fun.
in Europe? I'm curious, where in Europe?
I lived in Germany, in southern Germany, in a little town called Sembach, and I lived in Naples, Italy. So that was I was high school there. That was fun. I love the
Beautiful.
Mediterranean. That weather is just the best. And then I lived in the
I
Middle
grew
East.
I grew up on olives.
I lived in Iran back in the day when it was safe to live in Iran. I
Really?
lived in Tehran. Yeah. Beautiful
Wow.
place. I mean, that's where I learned how to water ski and snow ski. I mean, great people. That's I think the thing I took from living in all these different countries. We're all
Mm.
kind of the same, and everyone sort of wants the same. So the things that divide us, it's sad because at the core we're all nice people. It's just a lot of things can get in the way, unfortunately.
And someone asked yesterday actually of why I view people the way that I do, and I'm fascinated by. I haven't done a lot of traveling. I've been to many places in the United States, but I've never been out of the country, not even to Canada or Mexico. And someone asked, well, why do you have this view about people? Because growing up and in my 20s and 30s, I was known, like, even in church, it's like the gospel requires me to love everyone, but I don't have to like nobody. And that was my attitude. And it's because I have kind of a rough past, but and then something abruptly changed, and like, what is going on with you? And I said, well, I I I traveled to the eastern United States where I'm not from, and I hadn't had any experiences. And I started meeting these amazing people, people that normally I would not, I wouldn't, they wouldn't be my friends. I wouldn't say hi to them or have barbecues with them, whatever. And yet I'm in a work environment where I have to communicate with them each and every day. And I'm
Mm,
going out to lunch with these people and dinner with these people. And I'm like, they are amazing. So in one interview, here's this guy. He's got these big gauge earrings, and he's got body and throat and face tattoos and the whole way. And he's one of the nicest guys you've ever met in your life. And I sat there, and in the middle of this interview, I went, I need to ask you a question. He's like, okay. I said, what's your story? He said, what? I said, what's your story? He says, I'm not sure what you mean. I said, I'm really interested because we've gotten to know each other, and I like you, and you're qualified, and this is just awesome. I said, but if this was back in Utah, we wouldn't have met. We wouldn't be going out to lunch and doing these things. I'm curious, what is your story, the things that happened to you in your life to bring you to this point right here, right now, for us to do this? You know what I learned? I listened to this guy's story and he opened up. Blew my
mm,
mind what he was willing to share. And I realized something. This is where I came home broken, is that if I had to make the same life choices that he made to get where he is, I seriously doubt I would have turned out as good as he did. And I
mm.
went, oh my gosh, I'm a total dirtbag. This is so wrong. I did, but I came home. I'm a spiritual guy. I looked up at the heavens and said, God, I get it. I get why you love your kids. They're amazing. They're so freaking cool. And
Really.
that's what's powered all this since then.
It
So
shows. That's great. Yeah,
I
well, you learned the same thing that I hope we all learn. It's definitely what I learned in traveling, that we are more alike than we are different, but unfortunately, the differences are what we notice first. Maybe it's a
that
save yourself kinda rule, of the rules of the jungle or whatever, it's that sort of base thing that, are you friend or foe? We look for the foe first, but we should look for the friend because it's there.
I
It could be
totally
there
agree.
if you try.
I
Yeah.
totally
But
agree. And we should include more food.
yes, sit down and eat with people. It's always a good thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
good question. That led to some good stuff. I wanted to ask you something writerly since we have hopefully a lot of writers joining us here, and because I
Okay.
know you're an artist and a writer, and I wonder how you balance those. Which came first? Do they come together? Which do you feel like you're
Oh no.
more, or what?
Oh
What
no.
are you?
I was no. I was born an artist cartoonist. I've never gone to school or taken an art lesson.
Wow.
My mom once. I asked her. I was like, how come I'm so obsessed? And really, it's the right word, obsessed with writing. I go everywhere with a pad, some kind of note, something, and a pen or a pencil, and I'm always drawing. I'm always doodling. I'm always writing
Yeah.
something down. And I asked my mom once. I said, so what? How long have I been doing this? She says, well, and she's had this beautiful little album, and she brings out a little paper, and she says, what is this? She just held up, what is this? And I said, oh my gosh, that's Big Bird. She says, what is this? I said, oh, that's Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street. She says, yeah. She says, turn it over. And in the corner of my mom's handwriting, it says 2 years old, and it says Jamie. I was like, no. She goes, trust me, she says, because I can't remember if Sesame Street came out right before I was born or right when I was born, because I was born in '69. So I guess everyone can look that up. But she used to put me in, get some paper and some crayons and put me in my high chair in front of, the little bulb TV, and I'd watch that and I would draw. And I can't
Wow.
remember when I haven't drawn. So I've been a cartoonist and I started my professional career in 1986 and started making money since
Mm.
then. And I always wanted to be a comic book artist. I wanted to make my own comic books, which I did for a time, mostly because I was too chicken to try to get a job with Marvel or DC or Image, that was like my dream. And I was way too chicken. And
Oh,
so I
too
didn't do it.
bad.
So my dad's like, "Well, you have all these stories, these notes for your comic books." He says, "There's this new thing. It's called the internet, and it looks like it's going to be really, really popular." My dad's
I think
brilliant.
it's
He's
gonna
84
stick.
now. Yeah, yeah. He
Dad's
says, "I
smart.
think," yeah, and he's like, "I don't think it's a fad. I think it's actually going to work." He says, "Because whoever came up with it, it's a really clever idea. Maybe you could put it on there because then you could have it in front of the world." And I was like, "Okay." And it wasn't until I got in a car accident and I had
Mm.
to have surgery.
Oh,
Both
wow.
my hands went through the dashboard and smashed my hands back. So I lost the use of my hands. And I was like, now what am I going to do? I've been
Oh,
making
man.
comic books. This is when I started with the Wanted Hero comic books, and I was doing good. Everything was going. I was my whole dream, and then all of a sudden, I woke up one morning and my hands didn't work anymore. I couldn't feel them at all. I actually went downstairs and grabbed a glass of orange juice that my mom had poured for me, and I turned around and it just fell right out of my hand and smashed on the floor. I was like,
Oh
what
my
just happened?
gosh.
That's how I found out. And so I couldn't
Wow.
feel, I didn't have the fine motor skills. So I had surgery. It took it relieved the pain and I could use the basic functions, but I still couldn't draw. So that went on for years. So I walked away from Wanted Hero. I didn't tell anybody. I had readers in 60 countries at that time. And I didn't
And
tell
you didn't
anyone
tell
because I
him
was
what
so
happened?
no. I was
Oh,
so depressed. I was so depressed. I
oh,
just like melted away. And here's the thing, because the
sad.
internet was new, I had no idea how these things worked. And I thought, wait, these domain name things, it's only for a year. I was so scared. Well, if I lose it, someone could take that. And this is like my favorite idea, wantedhero.com. So I paid for like and this is back when domain names were like $150 a year.
But no.
I paid for like 7 years up
Wow.
front because I was like, I don't want anyone to take, which is funny because so the accident happens. I have surgery. I got to go through recuperation and all that. And I didn't tell anybody. So this time's ticking on. I get a different job. I'm making a living completely somewhere else. And then I literally woke up one morning and I turned over to say good morning to my wife. I put my hand on her face and I could feel her face. And I went,
Mm.
wait, wait. I go like this. And I turned over and I still, it's like out of habit, even though I couldn't use it. I kept a pad and a pen by my bedside. I'm like, and I start drawing. I'm like, hun, I can feel my hands. Oh my heck. She's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, really? She's like, are you going to draw cartoons again? Yes. We're going to go back to Wanted Hero. So this is
Aw.
the funny part. This is the funny part, though. I go to work and I was helping do input for designing cabinets on a CAD thing, and I was hiding my drawing pad and practicing under the table. And my boss, who had become just a dear friend, and I'm drawing when nobody's around. I've got my work done, so in between the jobs. So during my lunch break, I started drawing, and he walks through the room, and he like backs up, and he looks over, he goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, oh," and he goes, "Wait, wait, 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 wait. What are you doing?" Because he was very supportive when I was drawing comics, and when that happened, he gave me a job. So he looks over, he says, "Are you drawing?" Yeah. Let me see. So I show him I was practicing drawing Wendell and Dax again. That's what I was doing over and over and over, trying to the muscle memory and all that. He's like, you can draw. And I said, yeah, well, I'm practicing again. He says, so what are you going to do? And I said, well, he says, let me ask you this. If you had all the time in the world, what would you do now that you can use your hands again? I says, I go back and do the comic books. He says, good, you're fired.
Oh, bless him. That's
Right,
wonderful.
right there on the spot. And I was like,
Bye.
okay, thank
Can I
you.
have a
Yeah.
little leave? Can I have, like, a month?
Nope. Nope. He
Nope,
just
you're
said,
gone.
"Just go and do that." So, yeah.
What an
So
incredible
I
story.
no,
Look,
so
we wouldn't know this about you. I mean, I love hearing this. What an inspiration you are, Jamie.
So the writing, all this that's happening now, all
Yeah.
the writing came about because I was so depressed because I just wanted to tell Wendell's story so badly because my kids, they grew up hearing these stories and I wanted to share them. So my wife just said, why don't you just try writing them? I'm like, no, I'm not a writer. And she's like, sweetheart, you write the scripts for your comic books. I know it's not
Yeah.
the same, but you are a writer. I'm like, my kids are like, do it, dad, do it. And
Oh,
all my
great.
kids were like, do that. And that's where that came from. Anyway, there's more to it, but I could talk for days. Yeah.
Well, and there's more people that needs to be interviewed. Everybody, we
Oh,
encourage
yeah.
you to do it 2 by 2. Look what you can learn. I love that. It's so inspirational. You never gave up on yourself, and
No.
we
Oh,
shouldn't.
no.
It's too easy to give up. But, keep hope alive, I guess, but
Yeah, and be the hope
it
for someone
happens.
else, because honestly, I actually did give up several times, and it was my family. I mean, I remember times when I'd come into the room and I'm just feeling so low, and my wife, I love that woman. She hates when
Yeah.
I do this in public, but I love my wife so much. She's such a good person. And she'd come up, she'd put her hands on my face and say, "Stop." She's look at me, and she says, "All I want you to do, I know you don't feel like you have anything else in you. Do this one thing." I said, "What?" "Just go be you." I says, "But
Mm.
why?" She says, "Because I think people would like you." I'm like, "No, no."
We
And
do.
she says,
Yes, yes.
she says, "Then go." She told me, she says, "Then go like everybody else." And that I could do. So
What
that's
is
why
your
I'm
wife's
here.
first name? What is your wife's first name?
It's Kathy Lynn.
Kathy Lynn. I just feel like we should
Yeah.
know it. I mean, I just can't keep
I
calling her
know.
the wife.
I used to I used
Kathy
to
Lynn, we
blog
love
about her.
you.
I used
Everybody
to
needs a
blog about
Kathy
her.
Lynn.
Yeah.
The thing is, we do have a Kathy Lynn in you. Those Monday morning
Mm.
coffees that you do, which I hope you have one that'll come out Monday. It feels like Monday today. I don't
Yes,
know why.
it
Um,
does.
I love those. And at the end, when I love the song, I love it at the end when you say, "Go out and," what do you say? I don't want to take your
I just
line.
say you no, I just say you are more than you think you are.
Maureen,
Remember, you
I've
are.
listened to
Have
that.
a
I
good
hear
day,
that.
have a good week, and I love you.
Yeah.
Now go away. Bye. So, and
It's
that's
very
just how it
good.
is.
It's very
So Joseph showed up. Joseph, we're done. Dude, you're late. You're so late. So,
But we appreciate you coming, dude. And look, Coomer's here. Yeah, the song is
yeah,
fantastic. Sorry if we've missed some
yeah,
of your comments. I have noticed a few. Christy, so nice of you to come and
yeah,
Scoop
Joseph.
joined.
You missed it, but there's going to be replay, Joseph. Plus, I'm going to see you tomorrow twice. So we'll catch you up. Joseph
We'll
lives in
catch
my
up.
area. He's one of my favorite people. We're going to
Oh,
go
cool.
role play
Well,
tomorrow. Yeah. Going to have some
fun.
fun.
Well, we're jealous. IRL, Jamie, go enjoy.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Anne, for doing this. And we need to do
Thank
another
you.
Zoom too, because I love just visiting with you.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
It's fun. Thank you.
yeah.
Thanks everyone for listening and go out and interview some people. We want to learn more good stuff about each other.
Yeah. I have a list. I'm coming after everyone.
All
I've
right.
got a list.
Good.
Okay. Love you, Anne. See
Okay.
you, everybody. Have a
Love you
good day.
too. Bye guys.
Bye bye.